So only encryption algorithm is used, no decryption algorithm. And there is a mistake in the last figure and the extreme last. Decrypt should be encrypt. So we discussed in AES why AES mixed column operations, AES mixed column operations, the polynomial or the matrix we used, most of them are either 0, 1 or 0, 2 or 0, 3, because the whole operations can be executed minimum time, whereas the decryption algorithm or decryption mixed column, it is O, D, O, C, O, E, and so on. It is there. O is not the correct, 0. O is 0 and O I am pronouncing similar way. So encryption operations should be faster. So considering that, the stream server point of view, encryption computation should be as quick as possible. Now, advantage and limitations of CFB. Obviously, it is stream cipher, so it will all operation can be speed up. Why? All operation can be speed up because the when data is coming, it takes very less time to do. But if you say totally, if you see, the speed is not increasing because block cipher every time should run, and final stream of keys will be generated. So encrypt. So this speed up, nowhere speed up, only it is joining. So plain text easily can be created, plain text to cipher text. There is a problem if error occur in some block of cipher text while transmission by through media, receiver can receive wrongly, and if wrong received, the error possibility, the getting back plain text, several plain text block will be damaged or wrong. If you look into the CBC mode, how many blocks will be damaged? If you go to the CBC mode, here how many blocks will be damaged? In decryption time, if you look into this, if C1 damaged, definitely I will get P1 damaged and P2 damaged. If C2 damaged, I will get P2 damaged and P3 damaged. So 2 blocks. Now you come to this place. If one place damage occur in C1, how many blocks it will damage? Definitely you will damage the P1. Then the S bit is used for P2. Obviously P2 will be damaged. And this S bit indirectly feed into the 64 minus S, because next stage, this S bit after encryption, this S bit which is error, C1 error, due to encryption, this S bit is mixed with cipher block of due to encrypt several bits. So, and we have taken only S bits from the encrypted one, so P2 definitely will be damaged. And 64 minus S bits in next stage also erroneous. So it will continue series of plain text bits. There are estimates, but you have to look into this. So error propagates several blocks when some of the communication error occur. Our assumption is creation time, no error. Now, output feedback mode come in picture to avoid the error. What is output feedback mode? It is the key stream generation process is independent of the cipher blocks or cipher bits and plaintext bits. So key stream means S bit generation. These S bit generations independent of the plaintext and ciphertext. There is no feedback from the any cipher to the next S bit generation. So this error in any transmitted block C1, C2, C3, C4, S bit things, S bit data, only that many S bit will be plaintext will be erroneous, remaining will be correct. So error is not going to propagate, but there is no error recovery. Remember, till now what we discussed, there is no option for error recovery, only error propagation minimized. Again, this picture has same wrong because the decryption process, it is decrypt is written, it is encryption. The initial value remains same or initial vector case. This OFB has another advantage is that I can offline generate this S bit for first S bit from this generator several times. I can generate it and keep it. When plaintext will come, I can immediately process it. So this can speed up also because I can compute in advance this first S bit, second S bit, third S bit, fourth S bit up to the last S bit. So this easily can be speed up the process because plaintext is coming, I am just joining and sending. So online applications or real-time application, it is very, very good. So what we learned, this OFB has series of advantages. When error feedback problem where need to be encryption before message is available, what I want to say, if there is error, we are erroneous place, definitely we can use, or noisy channel, it can be used. It appears superficially similar to CFB, but it is not at all CFB. Only problem here is, or subsequent, better to use every time or at a certain interval, key should be changed or initial value should be changed. Otherwise, the pattern will remain same. Same bit set will be mapped to same ciphertext bit set, and it will be easily breakable by ciphertext only attack. What we discussed, this is that initial value, initial CFB, OFB, we have initial value or initial vector. We are encrypting and getting things and continuing this process. And while doing so, there is a feedback options and shifting options and so many extra things. So feedback, all these things may not require if we have very good avalanche effect in encryption and decryption process. So automatically the new mode came up, is the counter mode. Why? We have seen AES or DES, one bit change, there are almost half of the block size ciphertext bit alters or affects. Considering that, our encryption algorithm is very good in confusion and diffusion, and other option is that the the other option is initial value exchange can be minimized. These are all, everything put in together, it comes to the counter mode. Obviously, if I take a counter of 64 bit or 128 bit, counter will count down from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 is in counter never loaded. Usually the counter starts from 1 and go, but you can have a counter which 0 can be taken care of also. That case. So I don't want to go into counter mode. I am talking, I have a counter which count or increment every time unit. So if I have a counter that is 64 bit or 128 bit, depends on my block size, DES or AES, I initialize the counter with a value. Again, that is initial value or initial vector, you can assume, or predefined numbers, set of patterns. Once I encrypt, then I take the output of counter, encrypt with key K, I will get ciphertext, and the ciphertext I can plain with, key stream, and I key stream and the plain text, I will get the ciphertext, jory. This counter value is incremented, next block is this, and so on till the last block. So counter, encrypt, you get the key stream plain text this, and this reverse in the other side, and this counter can independently parallelize, can be parallelism possible, and can independently can be calculated and keep it in the store, because there is no feedback option. I can take parallel several encryption, counter 1, counter plus 1, counter plus 2, counter plus 3, and so on. I can calculate it parallelly, and next set of counter value I can do it. So I can speed up that. So high speed network encryptions where stream cipher is used real time, they prefer counter, and it was very popular, now also very popular in high speed network. So one important thing in the counter mode and the CFB mode, error propagations not possible. Error propagation means while decryption, after receiving ciphertexts, while decryption, error propagating from few cipher bit to plaintext bits, and how many plaintext bit is happening. In these two cases, CFB and CTR counter mode, noise in the channel damage few bits of ciphertext, leads to only few bits of the plain text, and that many bits, not more, because it is JOR, that many bits will be erroneous. And if we have small error detection technique and correction, it can be corrected also. So counter mode is very effective, and OFB is also very effective from recovery point of view with minimum effort. But we are not discussed the recovery, we are only talked about the security. When we are coming to the stream cipher, our security boils down to the key stream generations, which used for plain text JOR with key stream to this, because if advisor, adversary, sorry, advisor is not correct, adversary or the third party or cryptanalyst see the plain text and the ciphertext can extract the key stream. Looking the key stream, no one able to detect the key. That options we have to keep it. So basic thing is what we talked about: hardware efficiency, software efficiency. The counter has advantage, CTR mode. It is hardware very efficient because parallelly I can execute. Software is efficient, also parallelly I can run several processes. I can do. It is possible to do the pre-processing and randomly it can use. It has provable security and its simplicity. So counter mode is very, very popular. Next, the very important one. Till now, what we have discussed? We discussed one important things, or we have not discussed something, and what we have discussed, all communications are going through open channel. First party is communicating to second party in secretly. That much we have discussed. But there are other options. The other options is we are keeping data in our hard disks or some storage devices. Can whatever discussed till now is be applicable to storage blocks? Answer is no. They till now whatever we have discussed is a communication point of view, and eavesdropper or adversary able to listen few of the message during transmission. They do not have access after the transmission. Second time, if I missed some blocks, I am adversary, if I miss some blocks while communications, I cannot get back those things again. But if you come to the storage, though, if we assume that all data are encrypted and kept it in the storage, the data are available to the adversary or attacker, and as it is available to adversary and attacker to copy and do offline, as much as time spending and try to crack is easily possible. Considering that NIST and IEEE started, initially IEEE started, then came up with the standard in 2007. Then subsequently NIST in 2010 came up with XTS AES. XTS AES is mode for block oriented storage devices, not character oriented. Remember, character oriented devices, this is not possible. Character oriented devices similar to the communication channel. Whereas block oriented devices, we need separate kind of encryption techniques. So initially, the first things came up is called JOR encrypt JOR or XOR encrypt XOR method, which is called XEX. The XEX technique, later on they changed it to XEX based tweaked codebook mode with ciphertext stealing. That name XTS is came from XCX, that JAR encrypt JAR based tweaked codebook mode. Tweaked codebook mode. We'll see the tweak and codebook. The codebook means ECB type. Tweaked means something we do change. Mode with ciphertext stealing. This is called XTXS, and XTS was designed considering any block, any encryption algorithm. Later on, they make it standard XTS with AES. So it is called tweakable block cipher. Plain text, we have symmetric key and a tweak T. Finally, it produces the ciphertext. So we have three inputs: plain text, we have key is used for encryption, symmetric encryption, and we have a tweak T, which used here to make it ciphertext. Tweak need not be kept secret. Please remember this. Tweak need not to be the secret. Key is only secret. Purpose is to provide variability. We'll see. Let us see here. This is one example. Tweakable block cipher, but this is not XTS AES. This is just example of tweakable block cipher. So I have plain text. Wait, let's see what is actually happening. This portion, whole things are JOR, encrypt, JOR, XOR, encrypt, XOR. This is XEX and added with a tweak. So that's why it is called tweakable block cipher. Tweak is TJ. TJ is a number. We'll see how it is generated and other things subsequent slides. This is a number TJ. Put a hash function. Please remember here whatever hash function we'll use is called one-way hash function. We'll discuss subsequently, maybe another after 6 classes or so, 6 or 7 classes. This hash function is called one-way hash function. We will see the one-way hash function, what is very important, how it is very important, and properties of one-way hash function is to generate a random value at the output. That is, we will discuss in details later on. There are hash functions. Input can be anything, variable size, and it will output will be fixed size. And output, looking the output, you cannot map to the input. Whereas hash function used in database or any indexing purpose, those hash functions are reversible hash function because there is one-to-one mapping between the input of hash function to the output of hash functions, because it's a reversible operations for data retrieving purpose. Here, this hash function is one-way hash function. The output is pure random. We'll discuss subsequently. So I took a tweakable number. I passed through the hash function. I use this output JOR with the PJ, the plain text, then encrypt with the key K, then again JOR and get the CJ. This is called, now you may ask questions, why to JOR? See, there is one here, the plain text what we are using. Plain text, obviously the there is some biasness or pattern exist. That pattern will be, once we draw it, the pattern, some level of redundancy will be masked. Redundancy will be masked. As redundancy will be masked, encryption, though encryption take care of everything, that encryption options, further it will make it more uh, good in terms of randomness. Finally, output, the ciphertext. I don't want the ciphertext always will be following this. So ciphertext, I want to mix it a certain level and want to make it some obfuscation, some level. That's why draw it here. This JOR is very, very important in tweakable cipher. This is added complexity. The reverse process is similar, only ciphertext and plaintext will be changed. So we'll move to storage requirement. Then we'll talk about the XTS AES. Storage encryption requirement, we say data on rest. If in store, data is on rest, because it never will transmit, it remain there. In IEEE standard 2007, they came up with the requirement that cipher because it is stored, anyone can copy and use it. Data layout is not changed on the store medium in transit, because it is in store medium, as data always remain in the storage and the pattern of storage will remain. So layout is not changing, that is block by block. Data are accessed in a fixed size block, but independently each other. So block by block, we may have to look into it. Encryption is performed 16 byte blocks, because AES is 128 bit. So, and independent from each other. So it is a electronic code book options. There is no other metadata used except the location of the data block within the data set. So first block, second block, third block, fourth block, and so on, or the different message with similar block informations, plaintext block information. If we follow ECB with same key, basically I am talking two different files, will be stored in two different blocks, but the file content, some portion may be identical, and that portion, if I go through ECB and same key, the same cipher block will be available in two different locations. Same plaintext is encrypted to different ciphertexts at different locations. That is a requirement. So that's why it is coming here. But always same ciphertext when written to the same location again. So standard confirmed. So let us look into the scheme now. This is given for a single block. This is given for a single block. Slightly different from earlier, we added one more extra JOR with alpha j. Alpha j, it is here extra things added is alpha j. Earlier this alpha j was not there, rest of the things remain identical. But if you look, instead of hashing, now they used AES. So this is AES, hash function is removed and it is used AES. So indirectly coming, if I remove hash function, I have another encryption, so another encryption should have another key. So I have two key now, key 1 and key 2. So key 1 can be 128 bit, 256, 512 or 192, sorry, 128, 192, 256. And here also similar. It is recommended that key 1 and key 2 should be as high as possible, recommended 512, because individually 256, together it is 512. It is the recommendations that we should use 512 bit keys, that is two keys of 256 each for two different places. What is I? I is the tweak, what we have discussed. It's a number. How I will be decided, it's a different story. Tweak. But it's known to everyone how it will be used. What is alpha j? Alpha j is gf2 to the power 8 sorry, to the gf2 to the power 128 bit element. So Galois field 2 to the power Galois field extension 128 bit of gf2. And this alpha is a position dependent. First time if I use alpha, next time I will use alpha square. Next to next, alpha cube, and continue. So it will repeat after the selection of alpha, it repeats after 2 to the power 128 if minus 1 if proper selection is done. Otherwise, alpha may repeat after certain time. Now, why alpha is added here? This alpha is added based on the plain text block. Plain text block in earlier scenario, plain text block, if tweak is same, plain text block is same, the result ciphertext block will be identical. So every time I will get same ciphertext block if my tweak is fixed and plain text is fixed. But here this alpha is, if same block came up in the first time, but that block came in the same content, same block value in the first case, second value in the third case, the resultant ciphertext will be different. That's the philosophy behind it. So position, or when it is processing, it comes into picture and it makes into the scenario. The reverse process is same. There is no big problem. Please remember, already I have mentioned AES encryptions, the output of any encryption, if avalanche effect is or confusion diffusion is properly checked, then or properly satisfied, the output of AES or output of encrypted algorithm always will be very close to a random number generator or random. Okay. Here, this fast AES here, K2 is used, it is basically used as random number generator. Whereas in this case, the second case, it is used as block cipher. Okay, next, this what we discussed, it will crash. Okay, it's telling that we should do in next class. we'll again start from here. Please try to read in the book, get some idea. If you find difficulty, ask questions. So I don't want to continue because again discussing. Let us repeat again. So XTS block cipher scheme or this scheme, what we showed you is the one block at a time, and our message, the plaintext size and the ciphertext size, in terms of the message or the what we are writing into the hard disk or the block device, supposed to be same. If it is multiple of the block size, then what I showed just now is good enough. We don't have to worry anything. Fine. If it is less than the last block is less than the block size, then there is a tweaking. We will see. In this tweaking case, tweakable block scheme XTS, AES, both places we use AES, that's why it's called AES, and we use 512 bit key 256 plus 256. Tweak is I, alpha is giving positional constant. So finally we get the storage options perfectly all right at this moment. At this moment this is very popular. Most of the secure data stored in hard disk securely followed this XTS AES options. Class is over. You have any questions? Please ask or put in the chat box.